see it.
Hey guys. Welcome. Hello, hello. We're going to give it a couple minutes, let everybody get a chance to hop on. Hey Alex, hey Kitty, Sierra, hello. Welcome, Adam. Hey Jedi. Welcome, you guys. Super excited to be here. Very excited for what we have plans today. All right, we're going to get everybody a minute to hop on. Hey, Jennifer. Hey, Sarah. Welcome, welcome. Hey, Galen. Right, I'm still getting situated. Just perfect while we wait for a few more people to hop on. We're going to get into what we're going to make in just a few minutes. All right, guys, welcome to Mixed Media Monday. My name is Brianna, but you can find me at Dread Pirate Brie, and I'm one of the ArtSnacks ambassadors, and I'll be your host for this evening's live stream. So welcome to Mixed Media Monday, the new series, the live stream series is happening every Monday on the ArtSnacks channel, and for the next several weeks, we're actually featuring our friends at Marabou. So you can actually find them at Marabou Creative USA. I wanted to take a moment to say thank you to our sponsors, Marabou, for supporting ArtSnacks. You guys should definitely go give them a follow. I'm going to move these guys. All right. Huge thank you to our sponsors. Here we go. Ooh, didn't mean to shake the camera there. All right, welcome. So let me go ahead and explain what we're going to be doing today. So I just wanted to put it up front that everything that I'll be working with today, which is primarily these two items. These are currently available in the ArtSnacks shop. And you can also shop these items in this stream. And if there's colors that you don't see in the ArtSnacks shop right away, have no fear because they are on their way. All right. So let's go ahead and review these lovely, lovely mediums. So first up, we've got the Marabou Mixed Media Art Spray. Now, these come in so many colors, guys. I was very overwhelmed. So many different choices. These are a acrylic-based art spray, and they make a very satisfying sound whenever you shake them. So there's so many colors. I don't even know how many colors there are. And it's great. I'm going to go ahead and lay a piece of wax paper behind this because it will get everywhere. Which is the best part about mixed media, right? Is whenever you can actually like make a mess with stuff. So it's really simple. It just goes down like a spray. You can, while it is wet, you can add water and spread it around. And then it works like kind of like an ink. You can also take your mixed media spray and spray it onto a piece of wax paper, just like that. Add a little bit of water, and then apply it directly on like a watercolor. And then you have a little bit more control of the shape and whatnot. You get this beautiful transition. Now it is, because it is a spray, it is meant to be more diluted, so it's not going to be as like bright as a straight acrylic. And what I mean by that is opacity. So you do want to keep more of a watercolor mindset in mind whenever you're working with these. All right. And I've got two more colors here. I have a few other colors laying around, but these are the four that I mainly want to use first. The next item that we're using is actually the Marabou Art Crayons. Now, if you guys have known me for a while, you know I love Marabou Art Crayons. I especially love Marabou. Like, honestly, I've said it before, I'll say it again. There has not been a product I don't love by Marabou. And these are wax-based. There is some cat hair on there. These are wax-based and water-soluble, so they work like a pastel. They're super creamy, which means that you can blend them real easy. There are several different ways that you could do this. You can easily, while it's laid down, I think they start to dry after 24 hours, which is really great because then they don't move around so much. But you can actually smudge it with your finger. You can use a different, like a paper towel or something if you want, but you can easily smudge that. Look at that. It's beautiful. You can also apply water and treat it more like a watercolor. These are so versatile. I have had these in my stash for quite a while because I just love them that much. They also do really well to blend with each other. You can also lay them on top of media that's already been placed. So like this spray that has already dried, whenever you lay a thin layer down, it's already dried. These will be available in the ArtSnacks shop. There are, I think Marabou does offer them as sets, but right now you can get them all individually in the ArtSnacks shop. And so you can just overlap it right there, and then you can always just take your finger and just kind of smudge it. It is super satisfying. Ah, look at that. And it just lays right there. Lays on top of your mediums. So you can even add like details. Like you can add an outline. You can add some texture. Like it's got this beautiful crayon-like wax texture. So that is some of the amazing things. And you can do a lot with just these two mediums. With just these two things, you can do so many things. All right. So now, given these items and showing you how some of the ways I'm going to be using it today, I'm going to go ahead and start this process. What we're going to do first is we need to build a background for our piece. Now I am going to build it here, but I have my second example ready to go to cut on drying time. And what we're going to do is we're going to build it with our mixed media sprays first. So I'm going to start with yellow because I want it to be really lighter. I don't want it to be too dark because it's a lot harder to build on top of it the darker it gets. Again, kind of going in with a watercolor mindset. So make sure that it's shaken really good because you want the pigment to be well dispersed. And we're just going to go ahead and lightly just add a few splotches here and there. Not a whole lot, just a little bit. And you can already see that it's adding a nice, it's very pigmented, like even yellow. The yellow is very pigmented. And we're going to take this, it's called Rosita. This Rosita. Now I have the Marabou ink of this color as well. It's a really fun color. It's kind of like a lime green almost. And we're just going to go ahead and just and the closer you are whenever using this spray, the more direct it's going to be. But if you want it to cover a wider range, I do have a few pieces of Bristol paper here, just chopped up to there we go. Now my surface is designed to be able to take it, any sort of excess sprays. But if you don't want to be able, or if you don't want to get any paint on your surface or something, just take a nice piece of paper or even lay down a layer of wax paper and just let it do its thing. However, I'm not afraid of it. All right, we're going to go ahead and I'm just going to spread some of that around, and I kind of want to get a little bit of variation there. So we're going to go ahead and just drag that down a little bit. Create some value going on. I don't know if it's really value, if it's more texture. It's probably more texture. And we're going to do the same thing here. We're just going to go ahead and swipe up. All right, and I'm going to use this nice flamingo color. All right, these sprays are excellent for an abstract method. And because this is probably the most darkest color we've got, I really don't want to overrun it. So I'm actually going to spread it around. I'm actually going to take a piece of wax paper here, and we're going to go ahead and just dab it around and spread some of that color in a little more controlled way. I want to carry some down there. I want to put a little bit there. I don't want to add so much as a full spray, but if you take a piece of wax paper, it does amazing, and it doesn't absorb your piece like a paper towel would. There we go. And if the colors overlap and mix together, then what better to make your background with than a variety of colors? There we go. And I want to have a little bit more of a darker corner there. So I'm going to go ahead and do that same technique. I'm going to go ahead and spray some of that here. Just a nice, good spray. We're going to take the actual ink. We're just going to go ahead and just blob it in there. We're not really thinking too much. We're just going to go ahead, just add some texture. All right. And I kind of want to fan it up. I want to have a few streaks going upwards, kind of like what we have with the green right here, the Rosita. Same thing. We're going to just go ahead and build a little puddle right there and just swoop, dry wash that up. All right, so you can already see we have a background kind of forming. I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of this Rosita color just because I want it to be a little bit more colored right there. It's looking a little flat, so let's add a little bit to it and just kind of create some of that watercolor texture to it. All right. So now I did prepare ahead of time because this takes a little bit of dry time, but I don't want to keep you guys waiting. So I went ahead and I did this earlier, kind of replicated somewhat similar. And if we have time, we can always go back to our other one right here while it's drying. I also took the liberty of sketching in colored pencil some little planters right here because I love plants and I feel like you can never really go wrong with them. And with how wild that mixed media spray and the crayons can be, it's amazing because plants are so organic in nature that I thought, you know what, let's let the mixed media kind of speak for itself. Let's let the mixed media show through our plants. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to take a combination of the Rosita, this limey green, add just a little bit more. Now the more that you add, the more concentrated your stuff's going to be. And then I'm also going to add this mint color. Now this is a much darker color right here, but it can be super helpful, especially the more that you water it down. All right, I'm going to go ahead and pull this wax paper off screen here so we have more room to work with. And from there, we're going to go ahead and we're just going to lay down a very light, transparent leaf patterns. Patterns? I don't know. And I'm going to mix in the mint. Now the mint is really, really dark, and I'll show you here in just a second. My swatch card went right here. Oh, that's a really watered down version. Oh, but they're really nice when you blend them together. All right, so we're going to do some of that. We're going to blend a very watered down, kind of like less saturated. And we're just going to go ahead and blend that out. We want to create, we don't have to think too much. Just let it be some texture. All right, and your plant leaves don't even have to be fully connected. They can just kind of go wild. It's foliage. I mean, plants have a mind of their own, let's be honest. There we go. And I'm going to actually mix some of that flamingo color. And we're going to go ahead and just kind of like, we're going to have some pink leaves, because why not? You can always add some more color on top. We're just building layers right now. So don't worry if it comes out really light. And again, because these are watered down acrylics, basically, they're not going to be as opaque as regular acrylic. Right. Light to dark, exactly. All right. Now I'm feeling a little odd. Let's add some blue with some of that mint green. The mint green is the darker. It actually doesn't look mint in the bottle, but it's got a much cooler tone. So like I highly recommend the mint green if you were looking to shop colors. Now my leaves aren't super differentiated from each other, but that's okay because we're adding different colors. All right. And we've even got our background kind of showing through in some of these leaves, which just adds to the layered effect. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to take a lavender color here, I think. And we're going to go ahead and do the same thing, spray that on our wax paper on the side. And I'm just going to go ahead and do some little leaves here. I guess that nice transparent, again, working light to dark. And this way, all of our plants are a little different. And by them being transparent, they're able to pull the colors from the background. This way, it's kind of creating a cohesion to our piece. The best way to create cohesion to your piece, in my opinion, is to use your same colors and mix them in different ways. You will find there is a cohesion in your palette that you didn't realize was there before. All right, so now that we've got our basic sketch down and whatnot, let's go ahead and bring in some stencils. Now you can do this with any stencils that you can find at the store, or you can simply make your own. I decided to make my own because this way it'll also translate to my personal style. All right, so I have a few different things. As you can see, I was playing with them earlier. And we're just going to take this, we're just going to lay it right there. Now I want to have a nice contrast here, and the raspberry color, this is not raspberry, this is a pomegranate. This is my personal favorite Marabou art crayon. It is pinned in this live stream. All the other colors are available in the ArtSnacks shop. It only lets me pin one at a time. But we're going to go ahead and take a makeup sponge, and we're going to go ahead and just lay that. We're going to go ahead and pack that into the makeup sponge just directly from the tip. Load it up, because you want your color to shine through. It also creates a nice smooth edge on your crayon if it's been going through a lot of wear and tear. Now, holding it down and making sure it's firm, we're going to go ahead and just start dabbing at this and creating this nice kind of ombre effect there. And you may have to do this from time to time, which is totally fine. We're just going to go ahead and just going to continue to just kind of scrub that in there. We're just going to go ahead and dab that in, kind of creating an ombre effect there. And you'll see what I mean in just a minute. It's so satisfying whenever you take it off. And here we are. We've kind of got some textures going on. It doesn't line up with any leaves already, but that's perfectly fine. In fact, I think we're going to continue with that just a little bit. I'm going to grab a different color here. I think we're going to go ahead and grab kind of a green color. Again, you can use your own stencils or you can purchase stencils, but I like to make my own because then it translates to my actual style. And this way people are like, wow, where'd you get that stencil? It's like, I made it. Always be willing to try new things with your work. And this is, if you were wondering, you can simply cut this out of Bristol board or mixed media paper. You just need a thick type of paper. You could probably even do it with like printer cardstock, honestly. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of add that in. And honestly, guys, holding a makeup brush, it's super soft. And they just work so well with these crayons. These crayons are so creamy and smooth. They're definitely one of my favorites. They also are really nice to hold. Like, there's just something satisfying. There's certain things that are just like really nice to hold. Like mechanical pencils and art crayons. Those are huge. There we go. And we've already kind of got like, we still got the leaves in the background. I am loving this so far. Okay, let's add a different one. I've got this one. These are, I don't know what kind of leaves these are, but you know what? Let's add them here. And you can find the edge of where your line is going to be. You can simply just kind of angle it to be however you'd want. We want to create the busy texture, kind of layer it up. So I'm going to go ahead and grab, let's do a lavender color with, maybe a red. We're going to do like a red color, I think. Hopefully this will translate well. All right, and I'm going to just double up because the pomegranate color and the cherry red color, they're similar enough. If anything, they'll just blend and make their own color. Guys, if you're not familiar with Marabou products, definitely go give them a follow. I got introduced to them because of ArtSnacks, and again, there's not a single Marabou product that I don't like yet. Definitely go give them a follow. You can find them at Marabou Creative USA. And I love that they cater to so much mixed media art. So there's like something for everyone. If maybe you're not so much of an a water-based artist, they've got other kinds of things like alcohol markers and things like that. We have them available in the ArtSnacks shop with more on the way. And just go ahead and drag that makeup brush in there. Like, go ahead and dig it in there. Don't be afraid. Remember, you made the stencil. You can do it again. All right, we need a little bit more definition there, so we're gonna go ahead and replace. I think we're gonna go ahead and take a purple because I think I need to get a bit of a darker color. When you lay them down, you kind of sponge the crayon effect in there. It is a little bit more faint than if you were to just apply it directly. So let's go ahead and apply a purple color, and purple is also the universal shadow color. What color is the bright purple crayon? This is lavender, and it's a really nice one. It is lighter. So it's much lighter than this one, but that's totally fine. It's more saturated if you apply it down directly. These are watercolor crayons. These are available in the ArtSnacks shop. These are by Marabou. Okay, and now if you don't want to be using a makeup sponge the entire way, you can actually just directly apply your crayon on there. Kind of like go in with your lines, kind of keep with your lines. And then from there, what you can do is you can actually take your paintbrush with some water, and you're just going to go ahead and just kind of spread it up. Just keep going, let that pigment flow, and kind of recreate the shape that was in your stencil. It already pulls it way more forward. This one, yes, this one is plum. I'm kind of following my guideline there that I made with my stencil, kind of like the stem of that leaf right there. All right. And it's okay that it fades up to the top. It doesn't have to go all the way up to the top. I kind of want to keep it like its own separate little entity of sorts. Going to go ahead and do the same thing there. Now, whenever I'm doing my pieces, I definitely like to rotate around. So instead of doing all of my leaves constantly until they're all done, I'm actually starting to feel like I want to work on some of the planter pots. So I think we're going to switch to that for a few minutes while these are drying. And it's just building the layers as you go. I'm going to go ahead and close off that leaf stem right there just a little bit. All right. Now for this next step, what I think I want to do, I'm going to take my favorite raspberry color, and I'm just going to lightly follow some of the lines. I think maybe not with this one. I think I need to have a different colored planter pot there. Let's go over here to this blue one. We're just going to add a little bit. You don't want a lot because this will actually spread pretty far. And we're just going to add a little bit of texture here. Now, just like water-soluble markers, sometimes you know how markers can leave like a streakiness even after you've added water to it? You can kind of see the original marks. Now, watercolor crayons are kind of the same way when you're using water. So we're not going to outline the whole thing. We kind of want the colors to kind of shine for themselves, kind of like more like shadows and values. And I'm actually going to take this rose beige color, another one of my favorites, because it blends so well with the pomegranate color. We're just going to go ahead and just kind of blend that. Now remember, these will not move smudging wise after being laid out for 24 hours. I believe it's the same with the water as well. So once these have been laid down on a surface for 24 hours, they are not, you won't be able to move them. They're not permanent, but they definitely are more resistant. Ooh, and by adding this, we can just go ahead and just like smudge our values to life. Now I want a little bit more definition there, especially along the line. So I'm going to go ahead and take some water and just kind of create that outline just a little bit. Same thing over here. Just kind of guide that down. Don't let it be like a full-on outline. And there we go. Look at that range of value we got with just those two colors and a little bit of water. so nice. All right, I think I want to do one more before we move on. I think we're gonna do maybe like a blue-green one. Let's do like a blue-green one, or maybe a blue-purple one. Blue and purple. Let's try it. I don't know how well it's going to turn out, but we're going to try it. We'll do a little one there. I love these art crayons. They have been a staple. I've tried many art crayons, but I always seem to come back to the Marabou ones. And same thing, we're going to do that blending technique there. Don't be afraid to like dig it in there, because the more that you add, the smoother it becomes. All right, and then same thing, by adding that, we're gonna go ahead and we're just gonna just close off the outline of this just a little bit. We're gonna just take that little puddle of color right there. We're just gonna drag that down to kind of follow the rest without being too harsh of a line. There we go. These are available on the ArtSnacks website. So I pinned a link to one of the colors, but you can shop the other colors, and there's more colors on the way. All right. So I think we're gonna go back to our plants here. And I think we're gonna take this guy and we're gonna have some fun with him. And I think I'm gonna take the dark green color. And then same thing. May even add a little bit more leafy effects with some more of the sprays. In fact, let's switch to that right now. All right, because I'm going to be using a bit of a darker color. I don't want it to get on the rest of my piece for fear of it covering it up. So we're going to take these pieces of Bristol board and we're just going to lay them down to protect your area. By taking this mint color, we're just going to give it one good spray, and we're going to cover that with my hand. Okay. And very carefully removing that to get a little bit of an outline there. So I love the texture there, but I want to add a little bit more detail. So let's go ahead and just kind of spread that out. Follow the line of where those leaves are, those outlined leaves are, and just go ahead and add little bits of detail here and there. It doesn't have to be a lot, just a little bit, just enough to know that you have a leaf there. Now the lighter, when you have little pools like that, they're really great because they don't dry as long, or it doesn't take as long for them to dry. No, it takes longer for them to dry. But whenever you have these smaller little speckles, they can dry pretty fast, which is not a bad thing. All right. And if you really wanted to, you could even just take the remnants of what was on here, and you can go in and you can just add nice little leafy strokes. Like, nothing goes to waste in mixed media. Remember that. There's a use for everything. Okay. This makes me feel like summertime. Like this reminds me of summer. Like a greenhouse or something. Here we go. There we go. All right, and we'll work on maybe connecting them, or maybe we won't. Who knows? In fact, I kind of want to take a little bit of that lavender color, and we're just going to create very faint little leaf branches, because I don't want the color to be too loud. You can add a variety of them. All right, we're getting some good variation now. Like, look at those plants, they're coming alive. All right, maybe we should add a little bit of love to this guy. I've got a couple of textured ones here. So let's go ahead and use like this little texture. I don't know how, but I figured, you know what? Let's go ahead and just put it right there with this guy. Maybe it'll create some fun variations. I think I'm going to go back to my raspberry color because this is, again, my favorite color in this setup. Oh, now whenever you're using makeup brushes for this particular technique, you want to try and keep your colors together because you don't want to like waste a bunch. You want to just use them sparingly and they'll reuse over and over. Kind of reminding me of dinosaur spots right there. Okay. Again, my plants are not exactly accurate as far as real plants, but it's our own world, so you do the plants how you want. All right, and with that, again, I think I'm going to come in with, no, not that color. Let's do like this pinky color. And just pack a little bit down right where the shadows would be. Whenever you're applying things directly like this, I almost always try to apply them where the shadows would be because you can always fan out to be lighter. But if you apply something heavy like that directly onto wherever your highlights are supposed to be, sometimes it can be a little disastrous. All right. Love that little texture we got going on. All right. Now, I think for these ones, is that going to overlap? It will. You know what? If you want something to dry a little quicker and you've got water media going, just take your paper towel and just blot at it. It creates some great texture while also getting it to dry a little quicker. All right. So go ahead and just line this up again. And I think I'm going to go ahead and apply that spray technique one more time. So grab your Bristol board. Cover off the areas you don't want to be covered in spray. Paint spray. And then I think we're going to take this Bordeaux color. Ooh, that one is a little bit of a... There's a lot right there. Okay. That's okay. It's mixed media. Just go with it. I think that's why mixed media is so attractive in style is because there's there's little to no rules. There we go. And from there you have plenty left over. I kind of want to leave that like that shape right there. Just with the speckliness. So in that case, I'm just going to take my paper towel and we're just going to like corner it off and we're just going to go ahead and dab right there until it starts to fade out. Same over here. Just kind of like dab it inwards. There we go. Now I have a little bit left. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and use some more of this lavender color I've got off to the side here. And see, it's already resistant to being moved because it dries so fast. And same thing, we're just gonna just enough to pull that design forward just a little bit so we know where it's at. And then from there, we're gonna go ahead and add some, actually we should probably let it rest and move on to another part. Let's go back to doing the pots a little bit, because I want to add some lines, but there's still a lot of wet paint at the base of these leaves, and I don't want it to bleed. So let's go ahead and move on to back to some of these guys. I think I'm going to do, I'm hesitant to use browns because we have so many bright colors. Although, you know, I might just use the terracotta, and let's do some orange. Let's make an orange one. Take your darker one. Kind of follow with the line of the light. I guess I have a light coming from this direction. So just go ahead and follow that line. take your darkest here. Broke the rule right there of just starting lighter and going darker, because I know exactly where this is going and I know how well it blends. So let's just own it. Okay. We're going to take our orange. We're just going to go ahead and like blend that in like we did with the rest. Probably should have gone with the rose beige. You know what? Let's still add the rose beige. Why not? Let's go ahead and just add that in. And you can carry it over. All right. And then using your finger, or you can use a Q-tip or a paper towel, whatever you would like. Just go ahead and smudge it all together. And don't worry about these little patches of white, because you can always take a water brush or a wet paintbrush and just kind of add, like fill in the little details. Okay. We're going to go ahead and we're just going to go ahead and just kind of like smudge that around. I think my first art crayon colors ever were a gray and the aqua color, or maybe it was, yeah, I think it was like an aqua color. Those were my first two. There we go. And it's kind of got a nice classic terracotta color going on. There we go. All right. Now I think let's do a, oh, got, maybe these will go together, or maybe choosing colors, man, choosing colors. All right, let's go ahead and add, let's just do a different variation. That one's very much of an orange one. Let's go ahead and add a bit more of a yellow ochre one, because I just don't want to offset these beautiful purple leaves we've got climbing up our piece right here. And I love the terracotta color. There we go. I've discovered a lot of new art supplies with ArtSnacks, but I will say that Marabou is definitely on my top. That's like on the top list of one of my all-time favorite brands. If you're not following them, be sure and go give them a follow, because they are awesome. And they're very engaging with their following too. Go. Just kind of finishing off those sides, not getting too lost there. There we go. And so you don't have a glare, it's coming along. These colors are the terracotta and caramel. These are the terracotta and caramel colors. Now, if you don't find a specific color in the shop, they're on their way. They're still coming. And with that, I'm going to take the mint acrylic spray, and I still have some over here on my wax paper. We're just going to go take this. We're just going to like create a nice stem. Just go all the way down, and the more like loose and wiggly the line, the better. Because plants are not symmetrical. Plants have a mind of their own. So just own that. I'm going to do like a couple of little leaves here, because why not? I feel like a couple of little ones to complement this really beautiful leaves right there. In fact, let's create some veins, and just see that transparency right there and how it just kind of works with your leaf color. I mean, I know these are mixed media sprays, but you can use them for so much more. All right. Looking good. I love it. I think I'm going to go ahead and add some leaf stems to this guy because I think that it's just kind of floating in mid-air right now. We're going to take some of this pink because we got a base of that pink in the leaves. We're going to take some of this flamingo pink. We're just going to go ahead and just kind of carry that down. Same with these ones. Kind of like a croton plant, honestly. It reminds me of my croton plant. And just kind of blend it in. Carry it down. All right. And then from there, you can even fill in some of your areas with a little bit of leftover color you have on your brush. Whatever's left on your brush, just go ahead and take it and fill it into other little areas of your piece. Again, it's going to kind of create cohesion to your piece. And there we go. Adding a little bit more because we still have this area up top. So go ahead and just like carry it up, like fill your page. Don't be afraid to fill it out with texture, with color, whatever you want to do. And you can go ahead and just, you can even take the pool from the pool of your paint right here. You can pull from that and continue to add a little bit more. You get a dry time while not wasting any paint at the same time. And remember that foliage is smaller, the like more towards the top of the plant that it gets. It's bigger at the base, and the leaves get smaller the higher up. We're gonna add a little bit of love to this guy because this guy's just not, it's looking a little sad off in that corner. I think I'm gonna add a little bit of, let's add a green. I think it's missing a green. And so with this, you can also take some wax paper and you can actually take your crayon and apply it directly on to your wax paper and then add water. And it will also work like a watercolor paint. Because we have so much purple in here already, I don't want to oversaturate it too much. I want to offset it just a little bit. All right. Now our plants are looking great, but there's a little bit of a ledge there and there's no shadow. So let's create a shadow real quick. Kind of remembering that purple is our universal shadow color. Let's take a little bit of the lavender because I don't want it to be too dark. And we're just going to do the same thing. We're going to spray it over onto our palette of wax paper going on. All right. And we're going to go ahead and we're just going to kind of follow the line and create this nice messy texture. With shadows, it's often not a straight line or a harsh line unless you've got really direct sunlight or light, a really direct light source, or it's really close to the surface. All right, so there's a start of one. All right, and then we've got a little bit of a bald spot happening right here. So let's go ahead. Let's resort back to our textures here. And you know what? I think I want to create, I have this random texture right here that I thought would be great for shadows or something, but let's go ahead and just use it as a texture just to fill up the space a little bit. So with that, we're going to call on the Bristol boards again, being mindful of the wet paint. We're going to go ahead and dab some of that wet paint up, create some texture while getting a little faster dry time. And we're going to go ahead, I think we're going to go ahead and do a kind of a reddish cherry red. No, that's probably too strong. Let's go ahead and do the flamingo pink again. Actually, we've got blue in the corner. Let's add a blue. All right, we're going to do one more time. We're just going to, there you go. That's all it takes. Removing your Bristol board. Like, I'm already covered in paint, you guys. It's amazing. Ah, look at that. And then from there, I'm very tempted. Very tempted indeed. See, whenever you get mixed media going, you got a lot of, like, potential. not really what I'm, actually, it's not terrible. Let's go for it. Yeah. Just a little, not a lot. And don't be afraid to let it overlap in some areas of your piece. I'm just gonna go ahead, and this way we have more blue around. In fact, I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna take this is from the palette, and we're just gonna go ahead and just lay it down. You can even slide it around, kind of get like a smudge effect. It works so nice. Now, there's a little bit of extra paint there. We're just gonna drag it down a little further, because why not? We're looking for ways to fill our page. That is one of my goals going into this year, and Marabou is amazing to help you do it. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and take that same color, kind of create a little bit more. I like the contrast that it's providing. I don't want too much, so I'm gonna saturate it a little bit with water. You're just gonna like drag that down. Kind of like water misters. And go ahead and carry that down. And don't be afraid to leave some like direct lines right there. All right, and now I've got this little bald spot right there. Let's go ahead and add some purple because there's really no purple in our background. Although it's not offsetting with the Rosita very well. That's okay. Just add some blue. And then go ahead and add some more purple. Kind of mix the two together. There we go. Creating a nice texture. Kind of fade that out. Looking good. And I kind of want to have a little bit of a darker color right there. And it's just really bouncing back and forth between the two mediums as you start to create more and more detail just by building your layers. All right. In fact, let's go ahead. I have one more texture that I haven't used, so let's use it. I'm going to actually try, I would say use caution with this part by applying a crayon directly onto a stencil because it can potentially scrape, which is not a bad thing. You might have to clean out your stencil. And it may not always get into the little crevices, which is fine. Yeah, see, I ripped it up just a little bit more than I would have maybe wanted it to, but look at that. And it actually provides a really awesome texture, like a three-dimensional texture on there, which is amazing. And from there, you can actually just go ahead and smudge your stencil lines. In fact, let's just get a little crazy, shall we? Just gonna go ahead, create some leafy textures just straight out of the crayon, directly onto the page. And don't be afraid to overlap. Again, we're in mixed media land here. It's all about overlapping, using those colors, those textures, those layers to your advantage to create a create the perfect depth throughout your entire piece. And then with the residue on your brush, again, go ahead and spread it around. Here we go. Got nice, beautiful textures going on. And I almost feel like these pots could afford a little bit more of a texture. So I'm going to take this color here. Ooh, okay. All right, I like this. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing. We're going to kind of protect those areas with Bristol board that we want to keep covered. I find that 3 is like the magic number for that. And we're going to go ahead and take this Bordeaux color. Okay. Ah, look at that. It's almost like one of those painted pots of some sorts. All right. And I think what I'm going to do from here is I'm actually going to take some of this and we're going to go ahead and just kind of dab some into the corner of this, create a little bit more value, and kind of tone down that bright blue. Like the blue is amazing, but sometimes it's a little overpowering, especially because it doesn't match this blue up in the corner. So by adding some of a contrasting color there, I don't think this is really contrasting, but by adding a shadowy color, it dulls it down just a little bit so it's not so eye-catching from the rest of your piece, although it's still pretty dark. In fact, I kind of want to add this and just use this as a shadow for the rest of these pots. So I feel like it's working really well with this piece. There we go. Love it. Love the value that it's creating. I swear, you guys, Marabou products are magic. Also, across their entire line, it doesn't matter what mediums, the colors tend to complement each other across the different mediums. Like these crayons are they're made with the same colors that the sprays are made with, but they also are made with the similar colors that the markers are made with and the fine liners are made with. I think I need to add some of that blue somewhere else. So let's add that same blue because it's really bright. So let's add it to this pinky color right here, just so we can start to blend it. I want all the colors to kind of talk to each other. And where I like one color to be, I like to accent it somewhere else in the piece. Kind of creating, ooh, it creates a nice shadow look when mixed with that raspberry. And again, just remember, you can make your own stencils to go with any of your product. These sprays though, my goodness, these sprays, they are amazing. All right, and I want to add a little bit more of a definition to these guys, just a little bit, not a whole lot. So we're going to go ahead and take, where did I put my mint color? I have my mint color hiding over in the corner. All right. Taking that mint color. I just want to create a little more definition to these leaves. Not a whole lot. Don't want to distract. I'm adding a lot of water because this mint color is powerful. I'm putting most of it at the top of that leaf. All right. Adding a little bit more. See how it's kind of already starting to pull forward more? Also, those crayons, they create such a depth of value. It looks like you spent forever painting that with some acrylic paint or oil paint, and all you did was blend two colors together. Those crayons are amazing. They also work really great as kind of like a mess-free watercolor paint when you're traveling. Like when I'm going somewhere and I'm traveling with these, I need some art supplies. One of the things I'll always carry is some of these guys because you can use them as a crayon. You can apply them straight down, or you can simply wet the tip of your brush and wet some of the pigment off of it and use it directly from your piece there. And you can do that with like a water brush or something. So it's kind of like a mess-free watercolor that's perfect for travel. All right, and I've got the leaves back here, but I want them to stay back there because I like these leaves being more in the foreground. I am going to add just a touch more. I'm going to mix some of my blue with the mint color, and we're just going to add a little bit more at the base of these leaves to make them stand out that much more. And adding a couple more because we want it to be full. Never be too afraid to add more leaves and make it more full. plants, you guys. They're amazing. Adding a little bit more, a little bit more. Not trying to add too much. All right, you guys. Now comes one of the best parts. Now, I always like to tape down the piece because when you pull it off, you get this beautiful white border. To your piece. Here we go. I've got a nice little corner right there to sign my name using some ink. We're going to use some of the acrylic spray because then it's not going to distract. I never like to use black if I've like black ink to sign my work if I've never used it anywhere else in the piece because it just tends to be too distracting. So you always want to sign your work. All right. And there we have it, you guys. So whenever you want to do a piece like this, always start lighter to dark. Figure out what colors you want to do for your background. And I had to be really particular and use much lighter colors in the line, but I'm really glad that I did. It creates a nice warmthness to this, and then you can add your layers from there. And it's a combination, guys, there's so many different varieties. As we've gone through, you can use these and these even for so many different textures and variety in your work, and you can get so much range of value on them as well. So highly recommend these products. They are available in the ArtSnacks shop, so be sure to check them out. And we do have more colors coming soon. Ooh, I have tape that's trying to be my best friend. I want to say again, a big thank you to Marabou for sponsoring this live stream and making such magical products, you guys. Marabou is magic, I swear. I created the best landscape piece I've ever done like 2 weeks ago, and now this, and I've never done anything like this. Also, don't forget, you can always make your own stencils. Don't feel like you got to go buy a bunch of them. You can just make your own. And then it translates into your own personal style. And then by the end of it, you got this nice little collection of just like really messy stencils. You can use this on a mixed media paper or a Bristol board. I do believe there's Bristol board available in the ArtSnacks shop. So don't be afraid to use stencils with your work. You can even use them with outlines, if you have like a fine liner or something like that. It is wonderful. Yes, Marabou products are amazing and I love them. Again, have not found a single Marabou product that I don't love yet. So once again, thank you to our sponsors at Marabou. Guys, go follow them. They're at Marabou Creative USA. Their products are magic. It's so amazing. Thank you guys so much for being here. This has been so much fun. I really enjoyed making this piece with you guys. If you're just tuning in, my name is Dread Pirate Bree. And everything, again, will be available in the ArtSnacks shop. And if you don't find the color you're looking for, we've got more colors coming on the way. No problem. Thank you guys so much. This was so much fun. Oh, just kind of looking it over once more. Loving the results of it. Super fun. And also, guys, remember that wax paper will take you a really long way with your piece. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next week for another Mixed Media Monday. Have a wonderful night, you guys. Bye now.